Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah Ta'ala mentions in Surah Al-Insan, also known as Surah Al-Dahr, that we made a human and then showed him the path, whether he's grateful or not. Now, how many people, how many humans, how many people in this world are on the right path, and how many people have forgotten the right path? If everyone would have been on the right path, then we could safely assume that they would be following the same religion, the same practices, the same approach. Since everyone is not following the same religion, the same God, then it means that they're not on the right path. One of them will be on the right path because that is the path that is selected by Allah. But everyone else who's not following the right path or who's following something else will not be on the right path. So, what was that right path? And we have discussed this many times that that one covenant that happened on the day of Ghadeer, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked by Allah that you should convey a message which had the importance of the same message, that if the previous generations had followed their own messages that was revealed by Allah, they would have received from earth and heavens. So this message of Ghadeer was the covenant, and because of that covenant, Syeda Fatima Zehra struggled to protect that covenant because it had implications for the entire universe. But people did not follow, and therefore no one can change others when they're not following. And that's the responsibility of the Prophet himself. He was really upset why people were not changing, and Allah said, you are not answerable for their actions. Your responsibility is just to convey the message. And that is the responsibility of the Muslims, to also convey the message. So, one question about these podcasts and these discussions is, who's the audience? And this is very important to understand, because this first question was raised by Dr. Hatim, to understand who's the audience. Because if your audience is the entire humanity, you will struggle. If your audience is regular Muslims who were hell bent on saying, denying the facts that had happened in the time of the Prophet, you won't be successful. If your audience are Shias who are inclined towards Ahl Bayt al-Islam, who have some misconceptions at some in some stages of their life, but they love Ahl Bayt al-Islam, it will be a different aspect. And therefore, it's really important to understand who's the audience. And once you understand the audience, it goes into how do you approach that audience. Dr. Hatim discussed this concept in greater detail about the groups, the four different groups of Shias, and what are the concerns that each of those groups have, and how do we approach these, or answering or addressing these concerns. Then that is the first episode, or the first question that he asked as part of the Ayam Fatimiyya discussions. Uh, that was discussed and followed by a Q&A session where several follow-up questions were raised. For example, why was Muslim government established in Medina and not in Mecca? What is the role of those who didn't get the message, and how will they be treated? And what about our responsibility? And these are really interesting, important messages, topics that were discussed, and we'll talk about it more.